Welcome, Climate Viewer. Geoengineering with diamond dust. Sounds crazy. It isn't. Heard a lot of crazy ideas in my day. I think mining the moon and sprinkle it into space has got to be, it takes the cake. But this is a pretty expensive proposition that's gaining more and more momentum, and I think it's time we talk about it. How much momentum? How about scientists say sprinkling diamond dust into the sky could offset almost all of climate change so far, but it'll cost $175 trillion. That's a lot of money. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more. If you guys are new here, go to connect.climateviewer.com. Got a brand new version of that up here, right here. And you can go to my 3 websites, join my Substack, join our Telegram chat. We're always appreciative if anybody joins in there because it's a great conversation always happening. Check out my videos on the things and then my social media. And if you're feeling especially benevolent, we got a merch shop and places for you to donate. All available at connect.climateviewer.com. Let's get it. All right. So for those who don't know, I was on Quite Frankly last Thursday. So for those who wonder why I didn't have a show Thursday, that's because I was over on quitefrankly.tv. Doge at NOAA, Kim versus Khan in the AI arms race. Check it out on Quite Frankly TV or any of Quite Frankly's many video outlets. That being said, let's get over here. Let's get it. I mean, let's dig into it. You know, basically this geoengineering scheme, you know, this is published December 18th, 2024, is right before Christmas. But this is not a new idea. I've been following this for a very long time. How long, you might ask? How about all the way back in 2013 on my old website, back when I was still resonated and nobody knew who the hell I was. But yeah, and their paper goes back to 2012. But we're gonna start right here because I think that this is pretty relevant. I think that most of you missed this. And this one only got a whole lot of views because I raised a whole lot of hell about it. If you don't believe me, right about here, you could see that, well, it was there. Yeah. 9 years ago, I was the one commenting on it and sharing it with everybody, and still nobody watches. It's like 581 views. Long time ago, there was this thing called SRMS 2015. I covered it on my ClimateViewer.com, published March 20th, 2015. Now, the interesting part is David Keith was on a panel discussion. And on this panel discussion, he talked about using diamond dust. But as you can see here, I have all the original videos. And when you get to the geoengineering panel discussion where David Keith was present at, that video is now private. Because that really caught a whole lot of people's attention when I brought this up at the time, and I time-stamped when David Keith was talking about specifically diamond dust. But I went back and I reviewed the tape just to make sure, and guess what? I found Ken Caldera at the same place talking about it. I'm going to let Ken tell you all about it. Why waste my breath? Take it away, Ken Caldera. And that's not my audio. Hold on a second. My audio is not set properly. Preparation is key, guys. Usually is. How about now?
Think about social acceptability. I heard somebody talking about different particles that could be put in the sky to try to reflect sunlight. And somebody said, so there's that one of the forms might be some kind of carbon in the form of a diamond. but sort of I don't know what is 0.1 micron, little tiny things. And people think, okay, people will never put up with this. But, if, the American population put up with kidnapping and torture through the Extraordinary Rendition Program, with surveillance of all our telecommunication and our movement. And when it was announced post facto, most Americans were fine with it. And,
I don't think that most Americans were fine with locking up Japanese Americans during World War II. I mean, at the time, maybe. Afterwards, definitely not. But to equate geoengineering with diamond dust and saying, well, people are okay with kidnapping and, it's just mind-blowing. Kidnapping and torture. We're cool with it. We're cool with it, apparently. That we're cool with kidnapping and torture. Okay. That's your point? Make it.
I think if a political leader announced, oh, we started putting diamonds in the sky to protect you. I think if they put up with kidnapping and torture, they'll likely put up with diamonds in the sky. So I think this idea that people are not going to accept these things is maybe overly optimistic.
How about this? When he says kidnapping and torture and spying on everything we're doing, Ken, the argument would be, what the hell can we do about it aside from armed revolution? Because the government does not listen to us at all. Never has, probably never will. There's a lot of hopium going on right now with, all these, Trump nominations. Oh, they're going to destroy this and that. Doge is kicking ass left and right. Kick down the doors at NOAA. But does that mean that they actually listen to anything we have to say? I highly doubt it. It's a pretty weak argument, Ken. You know it. But most people do not know that in 2015 at Cambridge University in the UK, they had this SRM 2015, SRMS 2015, meeting. And not only Ken Caldera and David Keith both were talking about geoengineering with diamond dust. So that's not where it ends. That's only where it begins. This was held in right here. This was actually uploaded May 2015, May 26, 2015. And it was live streamed from the event. I was watching it as it was going on. May 2015, October 2015, David Keith, right here, DW Keith, solar geoengineering using solid aerosol in the stratosphere. And we're going to go and we're going to just type diamond in all of these. Oh, what's that? We apply the model of the possible use of alumina and diamond particles for solar geoengineering. All of these references will be available on my Substack. So like I said, come over here to connect.climateviewer.com. I will write these up in the very near future, so don't worry. All of these scientific references I'm about to give will be on the Climate Viewer report at climateviewer.substack.com. So you don't have to take notes. I'll provide them for you later. 2015, same year after the SRM 2015 meeting, here he is talking about alumina and diamond dust. And that's because David Keith specifically talked about aluminum and titanium at SRM 2015. And you can see, this is where my notes, when I edited my notes, they deleted, but because I was just putting these titanium, titanium oxide and aluminum oxide timestamp in here. Take it away, David Keith.
Yeah, so the reason that we didn't use TiO2 is because of concerns that we have about.
The reason we are using TiO2, and TiO2 is titanium oxide, for those who don't know.
The bad guy of TiO2 makes for photocatalysis. And so we haven't thought about it so much because of that. But Andrew Davidson has told me that, in fact, TiO2 manufacturers routinely make coatings, and that's easy. And he knows his stuff, so I'm sure that's correct. And at this point, we're really just kind of testing out the model we have. I should have said that. The particles we chose are in no way optimal. They're more like our first steps now that we've got the darn model working.
The particles we're using are in no way optimal, and we are currently just testing ideas for what would be the best chemical to use, what kind of particle to use to block out sunlight. For those who, I'm just giving you context because the audio is kind of crappy.
We're actually thinking a lot about different particles and about doing some laboratory chemical tests on particles, including on this issue of photooxidation. So I wouldn't rule in or rule out TiO2. It seems to me you want to look for things that are all else equal, that are earth abundant, and that are reasonably regular toxicity. And one of the things that I like about aluminum, that's one of the reasons we looked at it, is that
And one of the things that I like about aluminum is
actually a long history of detailed study about the atmospheric chemical consequences of aluminum, because it's the space shuttle and engine exhaust, and NASA funded a bunch of studies back to.
because there's a long history of studying aluminum nanoparticles like in the space shuttle. So I was actually going to share this for another video, but why not? I think I got it in my to-do, aluminum oxide. I covered this in an article a while ago. It's right here. And you'll see aluminum, barium, and chemtrails, just the facts. And I type in shuttle and the naughty shuttle. Each time the space shuttle was launched, the solid rocket boosters released 240 tons of hydrochloric gas, 26 tons of chlorine gas, 7 tons, that's right, of nitrogen dioxide, and wait for it, 304 tons of aluminum oxide into the atmosphere. That is absolutely insane. What makes it more insane, because people don't realize the size of this stuff, 304, tons of aluminum oxide is an insane amount of aluminum oxide. And real quickly, here is the detailed shuttle. I got the original document for that, boring. But just to give you an idea, space shuttle exhaust aluminum oxide, a measured particle size and distribution. And they show it in here as 4 micrometers. So for those who don't know what a micrometer is, if you thought nanometers, nanoparticles were kind of creepy, that is right here. So yeah, that's 1 nanometer equals 0.001 micrometers. So let's put 4 in there. Pretty crazy. So anyway, 4,000 nanometers, microns versus nanometer. I just completely got that backwards. Anyway, the point is, that's a lot of chemicals. That's a lot of aluminum. And that's what David Keith is going, well, we have a lot of studies on the space shuttle farting out a bunch of aluminum oxide, so we should do aluminum. But aluminum and diamond are my top priorities 2015. 2016, he writes another paper with Frank Koich, who ends up doing the SCOPEX project with, once again, diamonds. This is different chemicals, physical and optical properties of solid aerosol layers, titanium oxide, silicon carbide, carbon, diamonds, zirconium oxide, aluminum oxide, calcite, sulfuric acid. Those are for those who've been watching me for a while, you guys know that I've told you about these being the main ones, meaning in this order: sulfur, pretty much calcite and diamond dust are the top priorities right now. Aluminum's kind of fall into the wayside, It's getting a little bit of, bump back up there. And titanium oxide is almost rarely discussed anymore at all. But regardless, there he is talking about diamond dust again. Potential environmental and climate impacts of stratospheric aerosol injection. A review. Diamond is mentioned 12 times in this paper. Once again, this one is from... It was received September 2023, accepted 15th January 2024. 12 separate mentions of diamond dust. Microphysical interactions determine the effectiveness of solar radiation modification via stratospheric solid particle injection. So this is the real difference. It's not about using gases or anything. Again, Frank Koich is on this paper, October 2024. And once again, 27 mentions of diamond particles. The most promising results being shown by 150 nanometer diamond particles, because there was a significant stratospheric warming compared to injection of sulfur dioxide. So sulfur has its drawbacks beside the fact that it kills people, and they figure that diamond dust won't have as much of an effect on the ozone layer and other upper atmospheric problems. But hey, what are the human health effects of breathing in nano diamonds? I can't imagine they are good. Anyway, 27 mentions of diamond, and again, a list of different chemicals, that they've studied, and it's the ones that I already mentioned. So come forward. This is November 2023. Injection strategy, a driver for atmospheric circulation and ozone response to stratospheric aerosol geoengineering. Ben Kravitz is in on this one. Big studier of how it affects rainfall patterns. And, they talk about the changes in the intensity of the Walker circulation. Diamonds and solid lines show results derived using stream function method. Too nerdy for you guys, but again, talking about, diamonds. But now we're going to get really specific. These are the most recent. This is literally 27 December 2024. This article came out. Do we have a date? Are we just not putting dates on freaking articles anymore? Oh yeah, there, December 18th. So it's not a coincidence that this article's dropping on Live Science when you have two papers back to back coming out right at the tail end of the year. And once again, 23 mentions of diamonds. Recent research suggests that solid particles such as alumina, calcite, or diamond could minimize these side effects. All kinds of side effects. I've talked about all the side effects. But yeah, 23 separate mentions all the way through here. Practically the whole damn thing's about diamonds. And the other two mentioned chemicals. But this one really takes the cake because this was just published. And this is David Keith talking about fooling your eyes. Under a not so white sky, visual impacts of stratospheric aerosol injection. What you say, Dave Keith? What you say, Dave Keith? What he said was that the three aerosols were right here. The three aerosols cause similar changes, except most notably, the diamond aerosol increases brightness of the solar aureola. I don't even know that's how you pronounce it. Aureole. By roughly 3 to 5 times less than sulfuric acid or calcite. Okay? So, in essence, what they're saying here is that because of the properties of diamond dust, the sky will be noticeably less white, which means that less people would notice it, and that's a good thing. Still no human health effect studies. You're not seeing that yet, but they talk about all the methods of, how many watts per meter squared of solar radiation they could block with it. They compare sulfuric acid to, calcite and diamond all through the paper. Diamond wins, and diamond, the size distributions we assumed would be normal, with 95% of each distribution plus minus 25% of the corresponding mean value. I read this stuff and it's like second nature to me at this point. But, size distribution, there's a size, effective radius, and this is Mount Pinatubo eruption, which everything is compared to, for those who don't know. But, we're talking about sulfur, calcite, and diamond dust. And diamond dust is really picking up as the chemical of choice, the, solid particle of choice. BBC in the UK reporting diamond dust as a rare phenomena. Shut up. I gotta see that. Is that actually an article? Okay. Not as easy as just a search, but we'll have to look into that. I'll keep that under consideration. But yes, Dirk's in chat dropping science bombs as usual. So this has been only growing since 2015, when David Keith and Ken Caldera really brought it up at the SRM 2015 conference. I keep wanting to say hearings, but definitely wasn't a hearing. Anyway, so we're going to go way back. And by way back, I mean all the way back to 2012, the first time I heard anybody talk about diamonds, and I called the article Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. If you're not old enough to know this, that's a Beatles song, and the Beatles had a song called Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Why am I calling this article that? Because they called it Project Lucy. Project Lucy, radio and laser atmospheric methane cloud detection, energization, and methane destruction to create noctilucent clouds over the HAARP facility. HAARP right here, go down. Where's the quote? And this is, the original article is radio and laser frequency and harmonic test ranges for Lucy and HAARP experiments and their application to atmospheric methane destruction. And they say it right here, generate sunshine reflecting noctilucent clouds in increasing amounts in the mesosphere, which will reflect the sun's energy back into space. Noctilucent clouds formed from the breakdown of methane in the circular zone above the HAARP transmitter, where they could compress atmospheric methane into diamonds with radio frequencies. Now, this was written by Malcolm P.R. Light. He is a member of the Arctic Methane Emergency Group, and quotes Sam Carana and his whole crew. Used to be ameg.me was the website. They've taken it down. It's still available on Wayback Machine. But as you can see, methane in the air is decomposed in between radio transmitters that each use slightly different radio frequencies. 10 megahertz here, 23.5 megahertz here. Don't cross the streams, as they say in Ghostbusters, or you might turn methane into diamonds. And that's what they're claiming they can do. They can detect methane leaking from Arctic ice caps. And then, and it's kind of funny now, because, I said that this was not going to happen at the time. But the transmitters can be mounted on submarines, planes, and after 2015 on boats and drilling rigs when the Arctic ice cap has melted. From Arctic News 2012, from Malcolm P.R. Light and Sam Carana, 2012, that, you know, three-dimensional radio interference, crossing three separate HAARP type beams to create noctilucent clouds. So what the hell is a noctilucent cloud? It's kind of like what I put in the picture here. They are electric light clouds. That's why I combined the two here together in the picture. Absolutely beautiful image, if I do say so myself. But noctilucent clouds are electric clouds. They are high up in the upper atmosphere, and they look like this IRL. So we can see some here and here. I'll just go over to the images. And interestingly enough, noctilucent cloud formation is actually on the rise in recent years. So is that a coincidence? I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. But diamond dust formation to create noctilucent clouds way up in the upper parts of the atmosphere, in the mesosphere. They're sometimes called summer polar mesospheric clouds, but basically night shining clouds. They're electric looking clouds. But this is just, you know, this is just a story I wanted to tell you guys, because, you know, from covering it all the way back in 2012 with this crazy idea of crossing three streams to basically boil and then compress methane in the upper atmosphere into diamond dust to make noctilucent clouds, which I thought was just absolutely insane, till hearing it from the horse's mouth with the SRM 2015 conference. And I did show you guys, yeah, I showed you guys that they privated the video. Just a reminder, this is the effect that we have on these people. When you put sunshine on some of the things that they're saying, they don't like that, and they very quickly make this video unavailable, this video private, which is why I wanted to play entirety of what David Keith was saying here, and Ken Caldera especially, because, you know, as I like to say, these comments tend to get
I think if they
at least, you know, my previous comments all, you know, got deleted. The minute I went and I edited the comment got deleted. So we're just going to leave the comments that we have up there now, and you can just come right in here and click on 21.
To deploy these things. Let me just say something about social acceptability.
Social acceptability. What do you guys? Let me know in the comments. Do you find it socially acceptable that the climate cultists and the geoengineering lobby, I like to call them the lobby, because at the end of the day, they say they're studying geoengineering to save us from global warming, yet we're really not a part of the conversation. Just as with anything, when it comes to the governments, the international agreements, the Paris Climate Accord, you are not a part of the discussion. I don't care what they say about inclusion and, you know, all of this nonsense coming out of the World Economic Forum and the AGU saying we need to talk to all of the, you know, stakeholders, because we're all stakeholders in the climate, and we need to care what people thinks in indigenous groups. You think they're going to go out and ask indigenous groups if it's okay to put diamond dust into the sky, let alone the fact that they're literally saying it could cost $175 trillion. I mean, if you want to bankrupt the whole planet and then kill half the population, sounds like a great idea. Ooh, ooh, if I'm Dr. Evil, $175 trillion. And that's their plan. Now you know the story, and I will definitely drop all of the reference links from this video in an article on climateviewer.substack.com. So go over there to connect.climateviewer.com. Make sure you're subscribed to my Substack newsletter. It will show up in your inbox, get delivered directly to you. Join our Telegram chat. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and press subscribe. It's free. I mean, it's free. Leave a comment, even if it's a short comment, because it helps us defeat the algos. And please share this video, because sharing is caring. You're watching the most censored show on geoengineering on the internet, Climate Viewer News. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, guys, despite what we may think about these people and their crazy ideas, no violence. Attack ideas, not people. Love you, mean it. Catch you on the next one. If this video resonates with you, leave me a comment, because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.